move this mountain. I just don't see it any other way. I'm too weak to make the climb. I need a miracle this time. That's when.
Hey everybody, my name is Donna Feazell and I'm your host of Afternoon Drive Home on IC Radio in the town of Geraldine, Alabama, your source for news and entertainment. You can also find us on television, channel 182 on Charter Communications. That's local to North Alabama. You can also find us on the worldwide television. Yes, Abundant TV, found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. Thank you so much for watching. We're getting ready for the fall garden, and I like to plant seeds. First of all, it's more cost effective. I know what it's planted in, and I know what to do, except for the potatoes. But let me go ahead and tell you what I'm doing. First of all, I have these little seed pods, and I really love these things. They have the right amount of nutrients for your seeds. And so what I'm going to do first is put them in this little tray right here, and I'm going to get those things wet, okay? So that's really important. So I'm going to fill it up with water, and then what we're going to do, and by the way, I like to collect my rainwater. I've got this bucket right here, and it's food grade, and I use this bucket for everything. But anyway, when we get some good rains like we've had just, the past few days, I like to go on ahead and use my rainwater. So what I'm going to do is put water on all of these little seed pods. Now, I may not use them all, but what I want to do is get them wet. If I don't use them all, that's okay, because I can always put them back in storage again. So I think I've got those going, rocking and rolling. Now, while we're waiting on these to do their thing, and while we're waiting on them, they'll kind of puff up. See, they're kind of flat right now. So what's going to happen in a few minutes, all the rain is going to get inside those little fibers, and they're going to swell up, and it's going to be perfect when we are going to be planting the seeds in there. Now, while I'm waiting on that to do its work, what I'm going to do is get ready for the potatoes. Now, the potatoes, this is something you really need to do the day before, okay? And I just got these from the grocery store. You can do that, and I've let these set for a few days. Now, what you're looking for is the little eyes. I don't know if you can actually see that. So that's the little eyes on the potato, and these are the yellow potatoes, and I really like them because of the skin. See, the skin is really thin, and these are really good for fries if you want to do that. Hash browns, I like them in a baked potato, and you can actually eat, and I clean them off real good, but you can actually eat the skin on these. It is so thin, and when you're the potatoes on the inside are kind of a yellow look, and they're just buttery looking. This way you're kind of eating butter, but you're not getting the calories of eating butter. So I'm going to show you how to do this. I'm going to get these things ready, and I'm going to set them out on a tray. Now, I have this tray, and what I'm going to do after I get through doing this, it's just so hot in the greenhouse right now, and I didn't want to take you out there and you see me sweating like crazy. But anyway, what I'll do is go ahead and get these ready and put them on this tray, and then I'm going to put them in the greenhouse. Now, there are so many eyes on these. Now, you could just put this whole thing in the ground and let it go with that, but you can actually get more out of it if you'll cut these things in half, or even quarters, but I'm just going to go ahead and cut these in half. So I'm going to look and see where I can get the most. Okay, I think I'm going to do this top to bottom, because if you'll see right here, there's plenty of eyes right there. Plenty of eyes right here, and then also, now what eyes are little sprouts, and that's on your potatoes. Okay, so let's go ahead and just cut this thing in half. Okay, and you can also see what I'm talking about. Now, see how it's kind of wet? I could plant it like this, but you're going to get a whole lot more out of it if you'll just let it set somewhere where it's really warm, like the greenhouse, or maybe outside under the carport, and this, what's going to happen is it's going to dry just a bit, and that's just going to help. Now, when I'm ready to plant these things, what I'll do is plant it upside down, because these little sprouts, they're going to have to move upward. So anyway, look, there are 2 plants right here out of 1. And you can actually do more than that if you'd like to. And the reason I like to do it on this tray right here is air can get to the bottom. So when I put this in the greenhouse, I'm going to set it up on something, maybe a couple of blocks, so air can filtrate and get under there. And that'll be just right for planting tomorrow. And tomorrow we'll just do another video so you can see what I'm talking about. Okay, I'm going to cut this one in half as well. Now, I did save a couple of these potatoes. Actually, I saved about 6 of these potatoes. And so we'll probably have us some good old potatoes. And yeah, I love mashed potatoes with these as well. Another thing I've noticed about the yellow potatoes is, you know, sometimes you put your potatoes in the microwave oven and they kind of get a little bit tough. So this is what I do. And this is real good, especially with these yellow potatoes. And so I'll put them, Aunt Elizabeth handmade this little bag for me. It's made out, it almost looks like a quilt, but it's small enough to put potatoes in it. So what I do is I get the whole potato like that. Now wash it really good and get the whole potato and put it in this bag. And it kind of flips over, it folds over almost like an envelope. And then I'll put it in the microwave for about 2 minutes. And then I take them out and let them rest a little bit. And this is even for the thick potatoes, okay? So it's always foolproof. It's always going to work. And then I'll take it out, let it rest for just a couple of minutes. And then I'll put them back in again, and I move them around in the bag. I may have 3 or 4 of them in here. And then I'll just move them around in the bag. You know, like this side maybe was towards the middle of the little plate, of the little glass plate. I'll just turn it around like that, you know, so that it gets another, that way it kind of cooks more even. And just keep doing it for every couple of minutes until you can stick a fork in it. Now the neat thing about the yellow potatoes is they're going to get done quicker and they're just going to be creamier. And I just really like the way these things turn out. And even if you're making French fries, and I have this little, it's like a little slicer, but you can make French fries out of it. And I've had it since Brad was a baby. Brad's like 43 years old, my son. So I've kept that thing. And so this makes really good, and you might want to cut the eyes out if you have eyes in those. But you'll be getting them from out of your own ground, okay? They haven't been washed or anything, so you want to clean them off. And then make you some absolute fantastic French fries. Okay, I'm kind of checking on these. Yeah, I'm seeing I'm doing double work. Now you can see how the pods have already doubled in size. Okay, and again, rainwater is absolutely best. Okay, let's go ahead and get to work. And I'm going to slice some more potatoes. And again, I'm going to have these ready to go in the greenhouse. I'm not going to wash them, not going to do anything to them. And so as you can see this one has a lot of eyes on it too. And again, it just sprouts out. Now, how do I know potatoes are ready? They're going to have to stay in the ground a good couple months, 3 months maybe. And now's the perfect time to go ahead and get them in the ground. It's still kind of warm. It's a little bit humid outside where I'm at right now. But the hot days, we may have a few hot days, but not so bad. And so what's going to happen, the season's going to get cooler. And then I'm going to have, see all those eyes? It looks good. So I'll have all those down in the ground, and you'll start seeing the sprouts coming up from the bottom. And you want to plant them about 4 or 5 inches deep, by the way. And then you'll start seeing some movement in your garden. They need to be in full sun at least 6 hours a day for the best crop potatoes. Then you'll start seeing them sprout. They'll be pretty and green. Then you're going to know they're ready to go ahead and dig. Get your shovel out handy when it starts turning brown. Those leaves and the limbs start turning brown. So you'll know that you're ready. Now you can do these in containers. This food grade bucket that I have right here. Now you'll need some drainage in it. Okay, you can get like these great big huge planters as well. But now making sure it's pretty thick, because they need to have plenty of room, you know, because you can get a bunch of potatoes just off of one. And so you need to make sure that you've got plenty of room so that they're not too crowded. Okay, this one, it looks like, see, you can see there's a lot of eyes on this one right here, and then there's some kind of in the edge right here. So I'm not going to do a clean sweep. So what I'm going to do, see, you have to kind of choose where you cut the potato. So I'm going to cut it right here. Now some of these would have plenty of opportunity. Let's look at this one, for example. Okay, so you can see lots of eyes right there. I can cut this one again, and I probably will. And also you'll find when you grow your own potatoes, they just last longer than the grocery store potatoes do. And it's just the process that's involved there when you're doing that. Okay, let's keep up with what time it is, because you know when I'm talking to you, I just forget what time it is. Okay, let's put these to the side. And I've got my rainwater, again, in the food grade bucket. Make sure it's food grade, okay? And then also, I want to talk to you about the seeds. Oh, by the way, there's a store called the $5 store. And I found all of these along with these, see, these are just cardboard. So I found all of this right here on 50-cent day. Yeah, and there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There are 1, 2, 3, there's 66, 6, 9, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 75. There's 75. So I got all 75 of these little pods, these little seed pods. I got all 75. Oh, here's 2 more I didn't see. 75, 76. So there's 76 of them. And let me put some more water in, okay? Because I found those 2. They were laying under. And let's get these ready too. And it won't hurt to go ahead and put some more water in there. It's just going to make it a little bit easier for you. Okay. All right, here we go. Yeah, Buddy came in here. You know how he is. He gets jealous when we don't spend all of our time with him. So what's going to happen, when I'm ready to plant the seed, I'll put the seed right here in this little part of the pod, and then I'm just going to put it in here, and then I'll keep a good eye on them, okay? Now this is not potatoes. We're going to plant something else in these. So while we're waiting on those to do their thing, let me tell you what we're going to plant today. Now, you and I have been through several experiments. Okay, we know we had the block garden, and we got concrete blocks. I'm going to get some more. I love doing that. I'll never have another garden like that. I've got to have concrete from now on because I'm really busy. I've got like 3 shows, and we're starting up another one called The Edge with Donna and Kathy. And so I'm really excited about that show. And then also Dakota Donna. This is a kids show that's going to be coming out too next month. So I'm excited about that show. With that said, I do a lot of canning, gardening, what have you. So I was looking for a better way. And Brian Brown, who is my friend with the extension office at Auburn, knows all about gardening and stuff. And he said, Donna, you're so busy. Why don't you think about concrete? And, you know, just get those concrete blocks. And it worked. And I'm telling you, I've never had such success in my life with a garden with little effort. And so what happened is everything I planted had such deep roots to it. I'm talking about roots that are like really, really huge. And so, I mean, I recommend that to everybody. Now, you've got a lot of upfront cost, and I'm going to suggest if you're going to do it next year, go ahead and buy your concrete blocks now. I'm afraid with the economy like it is, they're just going to go up in price. So, you know, that's not good news, but it'll be better than waiting until next year. And so we bought, I think, about almost $300 worth of concrete blocks. But once you do that initial investment, well, then they're there forever. I mean, nothing's going to happen to those concrete blocks. And then what I do, when Phil is cutting the grass, we save the grass shavings on all of that. And then you let it dry real good. And then I put a bunch of those shavings, see, I do 2 blocks. I put the shavings down in the bottom of the block. And then what I'll do is put my dirt. And make sure you got the right dirt, you know, and then you put all kinds of, I don't put chemicals in any of my stuff. I want all of my stuff to be, you know, all natural. That's why we save the shavings from the grass cuttings. But make sure that they've dried out real good, okay, because you don't want anything happening. Okay, now, speaking of which, I'm going to do something else. So I'm going to do another little, let's just see if this happens, okay? Let's just see if this works. I'm going to plant these seeds right now and put them in the greenhouse, and then a couple of weeks what I'm going to do is I'm going to take, because the tomatoes are just about done their thing, and the beans are still producing, but they're going to be ready to do their thing, probably finished in another couple of weeks, and that's going to give me time to get these seeds started. And then I'm going to use those concrete blocks, and I'm going to try these peas, because I've read about, you know, peas do really good in the summertime, but these are called the Mississippi silver peas. And so I found these in a store, in a produce store. And so what I'm going to do is just plant these, and then I'll put them in concrete. We're going to see what happens. Okay, I'm so excited about this. Now, this is the time of the year you want to plant your root vegetables. So I'm going to plant some more kale. And kale is so good for you. We make salads out of it. And I eat kale just in the morning for breakfast. Like if I'm having a sausage biscuit or whatever, I'll just go to my little store outside in the garden and get my kale and eat it. I'm going to do some more carrots. Now these are the little baby carrots. And so I'm excited about doing those. This is one left over from last year. And by the way, always make sure that you put plenty of tape around these after you've opened it up so they don't fall out. I've had that happen before. So make sure you do that and keep them in the freezer. Now these have a date on them, November 2018. And I mean, every year, you don't plant with a few of them. Don't throw them away, put them in the freezer, and that's going to help out as well. Okay, now I'm going to plant some lettuce, and I like romaine lettuce. We eat salads all year round. I'm not going to plant a whole lot of it, but I'm going to plant plenty. And again, this is, nothing in it. It's just the plain old seed. Okay, and now once I open this one, and I've had plenty of these, once you open that, you might want to put it in another bag, like in one of those lock bags. Okay, so I've got that, and what else am I going to do? We talked about the kale, we talked about the carrots, talked about the Mississippi silver peas, and, oh yes, turnip. Yeah, we're going to plant some turnips, and I'm excited about that as well. And I like turnip greens, and I like the turnips, so they're good root vegetables. So, you got it going on. And then I've got this right here, and this is your garlic, and so I'm going to plant that as well. Okay, and by the way, this is just you don't have to buy seeds or anything like that. Anything you've got left over, stick it in the freezer and then use it later for planting. Okay, now it needs to be kind of dried out, like you wouldn't just go buy some. You got to make sure they're dried out. Okay, alrighty. Now, what am I going to do? Let's go ahead and get ready for. Let's go ahead and do the romaine. And this is another thing you need to do. Make sure that you put labels on them, okay? Because it's really easy to get them all mixed up and what have you. So I've got plenty of labels, and I like to use my Sharpie pen because it's going to stay. You're going to water, you're going to do all kinds of stuff. So the name of whatever the plant is going to stay on this label right here, okay? If you use your Sharpie, okay? Keeping up with what time it is because I get so excited talking to you. I forget what time it is sometimes. Okay, so let's go ahead. I'm going to plant kale. And, oh, by the way, kale chips are really good, too. Yeah, I know a lot of you men out there go, woo, really, kale chips are good. And so what you do, now this is going to be the flat leaf. You can do flat leaf or you can do curly. Now, I like both, and just whatever I've got on hand is what I plant. Now, we'll tell you this, the really neat thing about the curly kale is it's real good at just clinging on to your salad dressing. So if you make a homemade salad dressing out of whatever you make it out of, or if you use the store-bought, it doesn't matter. I'd rather see you make your own, though. It's much better, much better for you. And so if you do that, like make mayonnaise and put some chives in it and stuff like that, it'll make it kind of like ranch dressing. And you can do some mayonnaise, or you can do anything else, whatever you got on hand. It could be sour cream. Just don't use so much because it's kind of fattening. And that curly kale seems to kind of hold on to the salad dressing a little bit better. And I do like both, though. Now the flat is really good as well when you're going to cook it and make it. It's kind of like kale chips. Okay, now the kale is very small. So what I'm going to do, I think I'm going to plant about 10 of those. 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, I'm going to plant about 10 of them. And you can see these seeds right here are super tiny. Now, I know you remember what I did this past summer. I went on ahead and planted extra seeds because I didn't think they would all come up. So I planted, I wanted to make sure I had at least 7 cucumber plants coming up. And I thought, well, I'm going to plant 14. Guess what? All 14 came up. So, boy, I was giving them away. So, anyway, let's go ahead and talk about this. Okay, so what you want to do at the top of this, we put that little seed right there. You'll need to open it up like this, okay? And I'm going to put my little seed in there. And again, as you get this planted, and I'm going to plant them in concrete blocks, and as you get these things planted, see, I've got it opened up just like this. You don't have to plant it too far down in there. I don't think I brought a good knife with me. I'll just use my scissors and wash them off really good. So you want to put a little indentation there. And here, you didn't think I'd find it, did you? So here is my little kale seed. I'm going to cover him up. Okay. Now I've got another tray. This is going to be the cover when I get finished with it. It almost serves as its own little greenhouse. I bought this a long time ago as well. Okay, there's going to be kale. And I'll go ahead and put my little kale sticker right there, a little sign. So I think I'm going to do, I don't know, I'll be giving them away anyway. So why don't I do let's do about 10 seeds. I think it'll be good. Because one plant's going to it'll just keep going. Okay, and you won't have to put one seed. Okay, so I've got him in there, so let's just do 10 of those. Alright, so there's 2 of them. I think it's about to start raining. Yeah, I'm out here in the gazebo. This is another one of my favorite places. Phil says if he can't find me, I'm either in the studio, or I'm in the gazebo, or I'm in the greenhouse. And that's true. Well, I'm in the kitchen a lot too. So let's go ahead and put that seed in there. Now you'll get your fingers dirty, but I kind of like playing in the dirt, so that's okay. Okay, let's go ahead and open this one up. And again, this is, once you get these wet, see how much easier it is. Now if I had tried to open this up before it was good and wet, it would have been hard to do. So let's go ahead and put another seed, and again I'm doing kale seeds right now. And it'll be just a few days before I start seeing some sprouting. And that'll give me a real good time also to do my thing. Listen to that rain coming down. A little rain getting wet won't hurt you at all, will it? We'll just, if it does rain, we'll just sing and dance in the rain. How about that? Okay, there's another one of my little kale seeds. I'm going to put him in here. Okay, I'll just do 5 right now. And then, because I want you to see what I do with the other plants. Okay, just kind of wash my hands off right here in this water. Alright, now this is what we're going to do. So this is kale, and I'm sticking it down here in this little pot, okay? And see, this will go into the ground. It'll go into, actually into my concrete. So, into my little concrete garden that I have. Okay, there's another one. And so we're going ahead and put the rest of these in here. And then we're going to see what we can do with some peas, some pea seeds. Oh boy. We're going to try this. You're going to watch me with this experiment. Now you remember the experiments we had with the concrete garden? That all worked out, didn't it? And like I said, I wanted to have a lot of, alright, here's my little pea seeds. Now these again are the Mississippi Silver, so we're going to see what happens. Now one thing I want to do, let's get my little knife, and you see where that little eye is right there? I'm going to just gently scrape, and what that's going to do is help this thing sprout faster. Okay. You can use a little fingernail file. There are all kinds of things that you can use. Sometimes that's what I use, just whatever I've thought about and whatever I've put out there. Okay, and I'm going to plant him with a little eye up. Okay, so here we go. We're just going to see if we get some peas. I think it'll be cool, don't you? And make sure you got him in there real good, okay? And I'm going to put him in here. Now, a reason that I like to do this and have the little pods and then put them in something like this is as they start sprouting, I'm going to add more dirt in here. And see, that gives me plenty of room, and I can kind of keep a little eyeball on them, you know what I mean? So let's go ahead and put the peas right here. And let's grab another one of these. And this is why I don't have long fingernails, I guess you could see. So let's go ahead and get another one and put him down in here. Now what I need to do, see, I almost forgot. Let's go ahead and scrape that just a little bit. Now be careful with your knife, okay? And I don't want you getting hurt. Okay. I should have used, I generally use a paring knife. But I just didn't bring it out here. Use what you got handy, right? Okay. What I'm going to do, I think, is probably plant about 10 of these. And then when they do turn out, I'll be able to give maybe to the soup kitchen, you know, and give some peas as well. And we got some awesome folks who care about you in the community, and I'm just really glad to be involved with them. And that's Miles Smith. He owns the Cattle Stampede Steakhouse. He's a really neat guy. They're located in Fort Payne. And Bobby Ledbetter with Twin City Used Car Sales. You know, they feed folks every year at Christmas time. And these guys give away a lot of food. So I'm just glad to be connected with them. You can learn a lot being connected with successful folks like that. I think the reason they're so successful is because they like to give in the community. And they're just super, super nice guys. Okay, so you can hear it raining outside, but I'm in the gazebo where it's really nice. Let me keep up what time it is, because when I start talking to you, I forget what time it is. Okay, I've just got about a little bit under 4 minutes left in this segment. Okay, and then here's one that just kind of, he didn't bust open, but I want to plant one more of the peas. Okay, and we're going to plant turnips, and we're going to plant our lettuce, and that's the romaine. I like romaine lettuce, don't you? It's kind of crisp. I like the way it does. Now, the only thing about lettuce and about kale, it's really important when you harvest those, and you need to do it preferably early in the morning, or you can do it late at night. So either way works, but don't do it in the heat of the day, because I don't know, it just doesn't work out. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and get my label put on that. So let me wash my hands off just a little bit with my rainwater. And yes, the rainwater is dirty, but it doesn't matter. And here I'm going to wipe it off my shirt. Okay, now those are my peas. So let's go ahead and get my little Sharpie, and I'm going to jot down the peas. Okay. And on the back of it, I'm going to make sure I put Mississippi Silver. So I'm going to say MISS Silver, because there's so many different kinds. Silver. Okay. And so I'm going to stick that right here. Okay, so we'll know exactly what we've got. Okay, now I'll plant some more later when I'm not talking to you, okay? But right now, let's go ahead and get with it, because I've got about 2 minutes left. All right, so I've done my kale and I've done the peas. So next what I want to do is, let's do some turnips. Aren't turnips awesome? And they're so good for you. Turnip greens are good. Okay, so these are tiny, tiny little seeds. You can see right there, there's just not much to them at all. So these are tiny seeds. So, and these work really good potting, like we're doing right now. Okay, so let me go ahead and I'm going to get 5 of them ready. It's easier to do it assembly style, so let's go ahead and do this. And then I'll walk you through the process and you'll see what's happening. Now, in just about another week, I'm going to rob the bees of their honey. And I'm going to show you not only the process of robbing the bees, but I'm also going to show you what to do with that wax and how to filter it out, because I'm going to tell you, it looks kind of scummy like. I mean, the first time I robbed the bees, I told Phil that, I said, wow, I said, I don't think we're going to be able to use that wax. And so one of my friends at the beekeeping club over in Scottsboro in Jackson County said, oh, yes, you can. And I said, you mean that they're going to be okay? So what they do is they get pantyhose or leggings or whatever. Pantyhose is best. And then they'll put all of the stuff off of all of that after you rob the bees, and put all of that stuff in pantyhose, and then they tie it up really good and put it in a crock pot with some water. And it's fun how all that stuff, just all of the good wax filters out of there and into the water. Then you just let it set, and then it dries, and it just kind of floats this really pretty white or yellowy looking wax on top. Guys, I gotta go. My goodness, I didn't realize the time was going away like it was. But thank you so much for watching. I'll have another video just in a few, and then you'll be able to see what we're doing, okay? I'll go ahead and let it go right now, and then we'll be back shortly. Thanks for watching Afternoon Drive Home on IC Radio.
I said, God, you gotta move this mountain. I just don't see it any